If you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Ken, I'm trying to figure out how I got things going on. And once again, the takes are not delivered the way they're supposed to be, Ken. Out of breath, but not out of mind. We're going to get some things sorted tonight right on time, Ken. How you feeling today? And thank you. Let's get to what I already seen out here in this we got the gift of gab going on today. Let's see if this voice of mine is carrying out there. We don't want to not give y'all the auditory pleasures. I know last time we had a couple issues, so let me know if we got everything going auditorily and visibly. I believe those would be the terms that I would like to use when I try to get into this groove. We ain't got nothing to lose today, man, but we are finally in delivery mode, Ken. That's basically what we're going to talk about today. And when I find my remote so I can go through my clicker, nonetheless, the draft is 2 days away. Not even 2. Well, I guess technically we still don't have 2, only because it's not 8 o'clock yet. So we're a little bit there. Right now, I think nobody, and I mean nobody, can really agree on what the Bears are going to do. And I say that because not only do we have back and forth discourse daily about whom you might pick, who I might pick, and a host of others, I think most people were privy to hearing some things on ESPN today. Junior Savoy, thank you for joining the Postal Game. And they gave us some options of potential experts in their picks. So they had Todd McShay, which I think was the worst of all of them. And Todd McShay had us trading up and taking Dylan Tyneman at 22. Personally, I'm not interested in even knowing what the capital would be to move up 3 spots. But I would be absolutely infuriated. I think even more than some of the other things that I have a problem with, the thing that would enrage me most is trading up. Trading up would be where I do not, I see no interest and no value in doing so. And I say that because this particular draft here is alleged to not have an immense amount of quote-unquote elite level talent. And I don't believe if you slip past, let's say, pick 7, that you get any of that elite talent that we speak of. Get these lips right for y'all. Nonetheless, I think about it in the context of, I told everybody cluster picks. But we'll get back to what we're talking about here, because he had us taking Dylan Tyneman, like I said, and trading up. Daniel Jeremiah has the Emmanuel McNeil Warren out of Toledo. And, a couple other syndicates or what have you have had EMW be a part of their consensus, if you want to say it that way. And then you had the other people that I think are like Dane Brugler, ESPNs, and those types who kind of fall into the line of what's his name, TJ Parker out of Clemson. Mel Kiper's been one of the only people that I've seen have us take Zion Young. I know I heard a few people today to talk about Zion. And I wouldn't be mad at a lot of these picks, including Caden Proctor. Wouldn't be happy about Caden Proctor, but I wouldn't be mad necessarily. But what it shows you when we talk about that is that Matt Miller said Caleb Lomu And there have been so many different variety of thought processes when it comes to what went on. And that right there was 5 different directions. So if we're supposed to believe that the front office has a clear plan, what of all of these particular situations might be that clear plan? Because I don't know that I see the clear path for us. But right now, this kind of seems like a board to me that is wide open. Or to some people, you know, when they say it's a weak draft class, it's like getting lost in the mail altogether. I would rather you deliver my package and it not be all that I anticipated, as opposed to never getting it. And now I can never know if I would have truly been satisfied with what we got. So tonight we're going to sort through some things as far as who actually makes sense for the Bears. Ken did give me the idea that we will go through the best ranked players, broski. And so we get to talk about some player rankings from a couple of, I think, reputable sites. And they will help us try to go through draft rankings overall, because I have a question after we hit that like button as to whether or not we truly value the best player available, or are we the person who goes into the store and shops for need and I will get the best available of what I need as opposed to getting the best available to what is really there? Because I believe that there is a variety of players to be had, and I think that those players fall throughout the course of the draft. And while I don't believe that you are very, what they classify as quote unquote top heavy when it comes to you know, the upper echelon lottery pick types of the draft, T-Miles, how you feeling, baby? I do think that you have the opportunity for a cluster of each position of player to be had in each round, for lack of a better term. Because I don't think that you have to look at any of these players if you're not picking in the top, let's say the top 13. 15 to be fair if you want. If you're not picking in the top 15, I don't think you have this extraordinary player that people will really have this high regard for being a superstar. And so if anybody does reach that plateau, you in fact can have one of those players. But I don't believe that there's so much of a gap between 16 to 60 that I am not completely okay. And I use 16 to 60 kind of metaphorically, just to give an example of the expanse that I'm talking about. Because I think that, like, seriously, if you trade back, and I'm always going to be a proponent of trading back, but I think there's a way that every pick that you make, you can get something that you need and have it make sense where you got it. I'm all about return on investment, and if we can have a return on investment in the draft, in the stream, at work, all of those things, we look forward to it. I set goals for myself throughout the course of tonight's stream and every stream to allow myself markers of provision. And the Bears, no less, I think have a cohesive plan of exactly the things that they want to get done when we talk about how they want to attack the draft. And I don't think that's what one particular pick in each position. I think that's what a cluster or a group or tiers per se. But we're going to go through some rankings today. We're going to go through some tier type of evaluations. But right now, drop your pick in the chat as to who you think they go with first. And by first, it could be 25. Could be, what? A trade back and they first pick is in the second round. Or it could be, you know, late, whatever round. You understand? The very first pick they make, what do you think it is? Hit that like button. Drop your pick in the chat, and we're going to go ahead and break this down. because Broski said having 4 picks in the top 90 is legit. I'm saying that we got the opportunity to possibly have more than 4 in the top 90, top 100. I'll say it like that, the top 100. Highly annoyed. I had a appointment to go ahead and get my hair put together for Thursday to look super presentable when you approach people out in the streets. Time management is not the best thing for everybody, and the sacrifice of time management is ultimately going to keep me a caveman. So we're going to be a caveman in the comments when I say that the Bears are trading at my expense, no less, trading back in the first round. Now that might be to the 28th spot, maybe to 31st, but I can see us trading back and getting things together where you say edge or a left tackle, Ken. You know, I can see an edge. We're gonna go through. This is where we're gonna get into it, because if we hold frame, then this is where the question lies for me versus other people, because we've had a strong debate about BPA. But before we get into any of those things, guys, I have a couple of pieces of content. One, I believe, is Jeff King. Couldn't think of Jeff's name right there. Jeff is the new assistant GM. Did a presser, believe today. Got the footage of some of that. We want to check into it. Ben was also addressed today in the media. If we wanted to go ahead and look at any of the comments that Ryan posed, my apologies, had on the particular, what do you call? The draft. And why am I blanking everything today? And also, what's my lineman? Brian Baldinger. Couldn't think of Baldy's name. What is going on today? Baldy has a breakdown where he fancies the Bears to still target a free agent in spite of the draft. I don't see it happening. If any of those make sense to you to want to listen into, go ahead and drop that in the chat for us, because Broski got us picking left tackle, cornerback, or safety at 25. Of all of them, if we had to pick any of them at 25, I wouldn't be mad at cornerback. I wouldn't be mad at cornerback in the first round. If you drafted first round cornerback, I think you mean business with him. And so for me, personally, I gotta believe that that would give somebody the ultimate litmus test of being serious when we talk about how they want to attack. And if they go ahead, if they can get it done like that, I would be I'd be okay with the cornerback. Wouldn't be what I would ultimately go with, but still, it would be that simple for us. Because right now the Bears got like what I think is one of the most unpredictable picks in the draft, and we're gonna get into it. Todd McShay, like I told you, had us trading up for Catilin. I'm totally against it. Daniel Jeremiah had us taking EMW, safety from Toledo. Not my first pick, but won't rage against it. Daniel Brugler, again, with TJ Edwards. TJ Edwards. How about TJ Parker? Zion Young is the next candidate. Ramel Kiper. And Caden Proctor. USA Today. The Creator. Got you. Man, you supposed to be on the other side. Tell me about some of that. What about now, my brother? Let me hear it. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why right there. Let me know. Tech support, the creator, test lab. Got to bring it in. We talking draft player rankings. We talking final predictions on whom we might select. And we're going to break down a little bit of the concept of VPA versus best at the need. BPA of need. I want to know if we think there's a true difference and if the Bears operate under that context or something a bit different. No. I'm in the post office, by the way. I believe that might be the chat space. Yeah, that's exact. Sports talk is where we are in the voice chat. If anybody got personal thoughts. So we got so many different predictions right now that I'm virtually in a blender about how it'll shake out. At the same time, I'm almost certain that we're trading back, man. That's what I'm saying. I'm calling it. Gotta make that bold prediction. Even in my own expense. I'll be backing it up. So that's how I see that particular part right there to start with. But y'all let me know, because I don't think it's disagreement for any of those people. I think it's just purely chaos. We got a safety, edge, offensive line, small school prospect, according to some. This tells me, like I said, when I talk about that chasm of 16 to 60, the board is wide open. I mean, the board is literally wide open in a way that any of those people could be had. And of the 5 people I named, if you had to take one of those 5, who would you take at 25? When we talk about Caden Proctor, Emmanuel McNeil Warren, they talked about Dylan Tyneman. They spoke about TJ Parker and Zion Young. At 25, which one of those people are you like? That's me. Because for me, I really couldn't tell you that I know that I got something that's going. I really have to see how the board really falls that day to be like, yeah, that's what I want to stay. It's like you haven't proven to me up front that I need to stay, and that makes me scared. Scared in a good way, because like I know some people got full mocks, like absolute full mock drafts down to the 9 because they think about it so much, and like that's a super chat right there. If you had a full type mock, 3-round mock, a strong take, we can break it down and try to figure out exactly your logic, your reasoning, something like that. But I mean, those are opportunities for us to see what we vary in a holistic type, because I believe we all want the same positional players, but I don't know that I hold such an esteem in the acquisition process, meaning I want you to come away with all of those positions. The round, I think, should really be determined, or I trust in the determination of the staff, scouting and coaching, because at some point I have to understand that if they foresee and they talking to centers that could be taken in the 4th round, obviously they see a scenario where in the 4th round they could indeed take a center they like, or in that realm, the 3rd to the 5th, if you want to look at it. Maybe they got a tiering system of how far up they might reach in later rounds to get a player if they thought. So, like an Austin Booker type of deal if people want to just have reference point. But to move back and forth amongst the board to accumulate like Thanos stones to me, because all the stones had powers, but none of them were as powerful as they were when they were together. And so if you get the right stones to fit into the proverbial glove of the Chicago Bear, I think that maybe we get some off-the-cuff names that we're not so privy to understand or know. But I think that those are the opportunities that we need to totally leave our mind eye open to knowing that they can happen. And I say that just because who's to say that we can't take, and we got plenty of people for this example, Daryl Jackson Jr., Grayson Halton, some mocks have Lee Turner in the second round. Why would I be so heartbroken if I couldn't get Caden McDonald versus Lee Turner? If in fact, if I'm the Bears and I have 4 or 5 D tackles that I want, and I understand all of them may have a slight gap in where they are now. I mean, it's at draft time. Do I think that gap is so insurmountable that I can't close it with them? That I can't allow them to understand the system on the whole to get things, what's the word I'm looking for? To get player and scheme to be a perfect fit. We saw last year that this coaching staff has the ability to not only select players, but develop and utilize. And so I don't know that anybody wanted us to pick a running back in the 7th round last year, to use an example of a Kyle Manung guy, but whether or not we got the best of the best, that can be debatable, and that can be something that's your contention point, and I would understand it. But to say that you didn't really get one of the best just because you didn't get a Travion Henderson or Genty or somebody to their degree, one of the top 5 per se, maybe you did, because as far as stats go, you did get one of the top 5 last year. He just wasn't ranked as one of the top 5 when he was selected. So I always try to look at, and those are not outliers, because this happens every year, where you get the A.J. Brown, who was a 3rd round receiver, if I'm not mistaken, from Ole Miss. Wasn't the biggest draft pick. I could be wrong, so fact check me if I am. But you got several people who were mocked, even for his teammate, a 1st round pick. Devontae's not a slouch by any means, but of the two, they are pretty on par with saying I got the better value with the 3rd round pick than I did the 1st round pick based on production in the league. And pedigree didn't always prove that or whatever, or your measurables per se. So, when I look at how I think a person fits with a team, and I mean team off the field and on the field, as they are a young man trying to acclimate themselves to the league and become a true professional. So you don't want them to go off the rails, being entitled and, going off doing what they want to do. You want them to be ingratiated to the collective idea and principles that the team got going on. And so you want to have people that can vibe off the field, because on the field, those things are going to translate. And I think that we devalue where you can find a good player, because we are in the mindset of believing that the 1st round, while in rank, and I say rank, not because not always in productivity, as we can see many of these 1st round prospects, they're talking about their numbers weren't so good, but this, and that, or X, Y, and Z. It wasn't based on numbers, that some of them still are as high as they are on draft boards. So I say that to say that we have all, including the pros, been wrong about how we perceive a particular person's talent level, what they can ascend to, and so on and so forth. Because for the life of me, I cannot tell you where Max Crosby was drafted from. Like school. It's not coming to me right now. So when you think about an unknown who was not immediately there when it comes to talent, I'm willing to wait the third or the fourth round to get the tackle or the edge or the safety of my dreams. But let me see. Ken say Lee Hunter is on his short board at 25. You'll take Lee Hunter at 25, Ken? Is what you're saying? Like, that'd be wild to me out there. And if you haven't, and are new to the chat and just listening in the background, make sure you hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button while you're at it. Share it with a friend if you like Bears content and beyond. Juicy Juice, how you feeling there? Eastern Michigan, everywhere, who you got? No, check it out. If you're in the background, hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button for us. We got a super chat go as usual, people, all the time. One day we gonna be large enough where that won't even have to be something that is a issue, a thought. There we go, my juice. Oh, y'all give me a moment while I do something over here. I can't believe I ain't did it. Ooh, that's right. Stu, pop the chat out with the crew. Eastern Michigan. Okay, all right. I gotta do something right here for Juice. My cuz. Here you go. Stu, how you feeling today, baby? Man, hey, look, I'm gonna be always biased, Ken, as I am a small school guy. I went to a small school. How can I be anything but a small school lover? That's what I am at heart. I'm a small school guy. No tackle 25. Oh, you think a lot won't be there at 57? Yeah, I can say they won't be there at 57, but I can also see them being there at a time when we can still pick them first and have them and trade back. You see what I'm saying? Oh, I appreciate you, Juice. I know you over there getting some real entertainment right now, but you still pulled up, show me a little bit of love out there. We appreciate that. You know the like button is my salvation out here. You understand that it's countdown before we ride out and go chill with Walker and them in the building. So we're going to figure out a couple of those things while we talk about it. We're going to talk about best player available, people, versus best player of need. Do you believe in drafting the best player available, or do you believe in drafting the best player available of need to your team? Let's get into that question now. I need to know which one of those you really fall into. I need to know if we prioritize value or fixing a problem. Stu, their names are blue because they are moderators to the chat. And they have become moderators by either you see the mailboxes, they are members to the group. So all people who got memberships to the channel get a nice little piece of armor. People who are frequent visitors. And Stu, I'm glad you talked about that, because while you don't get the opportunity, Small School, Big School, for me was the tape show. You don't get the opportunity to pop into all of the live streams. But every post, every short, everything else like that, I do see you around. No, you said we, man. No wide receiver, man. No wide receiver. No wide receivers. I bet you did. And you know what? I think I seen your comment earlier today. I just figured out why you liked my pick in the 3rd round. You like that pick because of a damn wide receiver, Ken. Jacoby Lane. I hope I ain't speaking into its existence, but the way the board fell, we talked about best player available. I did a draft based on the best player available. So, with that being said, again, we're gonna get into it because people sometimes we get to the poll over there. Sometimes we ask the real right questions. Juice, I appreciate you. Nice and chill, man. Not too much. You know. Still wish the body was feeling a little bit better. What up, Benny? Say 2 years of good safeties following around. 2 years of good safeties following around 2, and I want to be the one to buck the trend. No, I want to find out in the 2nd round. Why would I try to jump the ship right there if they found theirs in the 2nd round? Why would I try to not do that? But welcome in. We got a poll going right now, Benny. Hit that poll for us. The question is, when you draft, or if you drafted, do you truly draft for a particular player in terms of best player available, or best player available based on your need? Let me know. I think we got everything put together for Thursday. Need to get the clear bag out. I can see us doing beautiful things. Real beautiful things. My puppy is the best. Thank you, my puppy. He's just straight laying on my arm. Okay, I mean, all right, and that really drives home a part of the question right there. And so, my only question to you would be, is the top were in the last 2 years? In the last 2 years, did the first round safeties look better than the second round safeties? I don't know, because my revisionist history is not there for draft picks. And let me know if we get too loud, because we don't want to wake the baby up. Say he got trapped over there. Or we trapped, get tapped in, hit that like button. I appreciate y'all. Once again, we got a super chat goal, and they are ready for delivery. We are trying to blast out. J Love on the board at 17. Am I trading up? I don't want a running back this year, sir. Cooper DeJean and the dude on the Seahawks. Nick Imorowski? Imorowski? Was he a first round pick? Yeah, damn right. You know damn well I don't care about this dude. Oh, no. I dig it, Benny. Hey, I think that's why they've been looking at a lot of versatility. I don't, as much as I don't like it in theory, because it goes against the notion that you can't be a true master at one thing if you okay with something. At the same time, it's like what they're going to develop into, and what you're going to ask them to do specifically, and how it pertains to their development in your system is going to totally change anything. But let's look at this right here real fast before we get into the last portion of us right here. And it says Cooper Fielder early round 2. Everybody's second, all of them there second round, 50-50 right now. Okay, I can't be mad at it right there. That's 2/3 of the chat, and we kind of torn down the middle. And for me, because it is best player of need that you want, and I believe Stu made the best point about it. He said if quarterback was on the board at seven, at our spot, he wouldn't take him. And these things this is where I get into the tier type things or whatever, because I see that Ken says he likes Tyneman at 25, more at 25. Broski said EMW was extremely talented and a great fit because Stu Dog said he liked him. Now, some pundits say that EMW is Peanut Tillman at safety. Stu, you just said it. If he is that, and I want you to check my video out, because I just had a draft in which I got him well beyond where I really believe he'll go, but you wouldn't believe how I got him. And it's because I went best player available of need. And because I went best best player available of need, I had a value system to certain players that I wasn't willing to go over. So if, let's say, best player available for me at need, Chelsea would have been a D tackle, and the D tackle that was there was not worthy of a 25 pick. Let's say it was Lee Hunter, and I don't think that Lee Hunter should go at 25. My initial desire is to trade back, and yes, I may get Lee Hunter when we talk about Littleton in the chat, yerping on the bromance. Those types of things for me inclines me to want to trade back, and I can still get Lee, but I want to get Lee at, let's say, 36, maybe 30, 35 if I have to reach, because I don't know what a true reach is, but I don't know the reach isn't at the moment. But those are the things that I think I kind of ruminate over to figure out whether or not I'm doing the right thing as the GM by trying to get the right amount of value out of a position. So if I have 5 players that I think can be starting safeties, I trust in my staff to be able to take the base things that we as a staff want you to have without question. And I think that the other things are going to have to be developed by the coaching staff and by the player. So I'm looking at, like, I need core ingredients, and other things can be brought into effect. And those are the types of things that I think give us the opportunity to more so play in and out. Just like when they talk about Gordon, they talk about Gordon playing safety. If Gordon has the opportunity to play safety this year, then in fact your safety position is solidified. Now you're going to get another cornerback and a nickel, and that may be one of the reasons they brought in Keontae Scott, my apologies, from Miami. They may have brought him in specifically because they believe that they can rotate Kyler, and I think that those are the types of things that go. That's what I'm saying. The draft may speak volumes to those types of things, Ken. So it's important for us to be able to keep all of those out there. And I like the safety position, and I think it's a bit more fluid, and we're a bit more diversified in how we can go about attacking the safety position because of who they signed. We talked about Broski Bear, I think, was speaking of versatility in some of the players. And when they signed Kobe Bryant is or has played all 4 defensive backfield positions, most notably and most recently both of the safety positions. So he is going to play, he's going to play a particular spot for them. So if let's theorize that if he can play either or, you can draft a safety to play whichever position that you don't want him to play, or they can be based on availability. Like, hey, Zaki was here. He more of a free ranging type. Or this guy's a box safety and more of a thumper, so we want you to play. Like, you can get all of those types of things, and you don't have to get a particular safety in the first round of 25. And I'm speaking on Tyneman and EMW because, they talk about trading Stooks. They've talked about Zaki Wheatley and so on and so forth. So I think there are enough of them. AJ Halsey. You're going to have a variety of those players. And so I think that those are the ways that we get into what I'm talking about with trading down. But before we do that, let's just look at an example, because we got several people that we can love out here, but I don't know if everybody wants to give us what we want when we talk about this good love for them. So hold on, and I'm gonna pull this up. Let me know if I need to make it bigger for anybody. But here we go. In the screen here, and if we do, we'll try to rotate. We'll just black me out so we can see this. But as far as the rankings go, complete draft rankings for 2026. we're going to go down to the 25th guy because they have Ruben Bain is the 5th ranked player, Caleb Down 6, David Bailey 7, Jordan Tyson 8, Mansour Delane 9, so on and so forth. And then we get Dylan Tineman. He's ranked 15th on the board overall. Caden Proctor is ranked 20th. Akeem Mesidor 21. All right. I'm gonna we gonna get out of character over here. We usually don't do this. We do a little bit of that. And the Dame Tucker is a sleeper. Now, here we go. Always happens. It never fails me, people. If we lucky, a trade down for us, but not worth mocking. Only doesn't matter. I wouldn't know exactly how it's phrased up right now, but we'll get into it. But if you can see here, we talked about best player available. According to this ranking here, if we were to have the best player available for us at the moment, that player would indeed be Chris Johnson, the cornerback from San Diego State. He would be the guy. Because I think Broski said cornerback and safety, their top 4. They can't yet. But you said something interesting right there. We can do it with our top 4. We ain't got to do it with the top 2. But we talked about that right there. That really does give you a synopsis of something that could happen, because they already got Chris Johnson as being the 25th best player. If he was on the board in their theory, that's for us. Now, see, I do hear what Ken is saying about the 5th round option. He want to keep that 5th round on him. And I understand the 5th round option may be of value for a lot of people, and it's going to be valuable for the right player. So if you can get back to, like you said, the 31st or something, I'm with that. I just wanted to have more bites at the apple this year, because I think we need to be able to be dominant and kind of like loot and plunder holistically. So we know you love Dominique Orange, broski. I know that. We got no doubts about that one. I just think like it's so much of a cluster of talent that we can go at it this way, and let's look at some things. So we're gonna go through a couple more of these pages real quick and just kind of touch base what we talk about when we talk about best player versus best player available. So they got let's say from 20 to 25, they have Caden Proctor, Akeem Mesidor, Monroe Freeling, Caden McDonald, Brendan Cisse, and Chris Johnson. So those 5 players right now. And then you go into Malachi Lawrence, Lee Hunter, Colton Hood, Caleb Banks, Avion Terrell, Zion Young, Emmanuel McNeil Warren, Peter Wood, so on and so forth. You got so many different people we can get to when you think of the Caleb Lomu, T.J. Parker, Trayton Stoops, Keldrick Falk, Cassius Howells. I mean, whatever the name is you want to throw out there. R. Mason Thomas. So many names we talked about in the top 50. and we are at 25. All of those players, can we say that a R. Mason Thomas is worthy of your 25th pick? No. Would he be there at 57? Let's just use him as an example. Would he be there at 57? You would hope. But if he's not there, would we say it was a reach if they took, let's say they took R. Mason Thomas at 38? If they took R. Mason Thomas at 38 instead of 25, and just using his name, don't have to be the player you like, but I'm just using him because he was the 50th ranked player on here. But if you took somebody like that was 50th, you drafted him at like 39 or 40 instead of 25, and you picked up another 4th round pick, 3rd perhaps, depending on who you traded with. Like, think about it. Is it worth having what we classify as the 2nd best defensive tackle? And we can be able to look at it that way. So for me, those types of things, again, Derek Moore down here late, Grayson Holden, Gabe Jackas, Jalen Kilgore, Connor Lew, Danny Dennis Sutton, Dalen Everett, Christian Miller, so on and so forth like that. Where's your boy? I didn't see your boy yet. I know I missed him. Did I miss him? Have we even? I know I saw Big Orange out there. Let's go one more page. But Taylor Onyedem, Malik Muhammad, what's some other good guys out here? Oh, yep, there we go. Zakee Wheatley, Dominique Orange, Devin Moore, Kieran Crawford is somebody that I like a little bit. Keontae, that's the guy we brought in. Daryl Jackson Jr., Jacoby Lane, Davison Benison. Like, you have multiple people. Now, what was that you say? Got to avoid DT earlier. Reason we brought in multiple. I think they brought in multiple because they are about to replenish what they've had. Dexter is here for one last year, and that might be both of them. Grady and Gavon. We're not talking about the Dexters because they kind of, the same type of dude to me right now. One that was a leader. One of them was a draft pick. The other big body gone already. So you had to replace Billings already. Dexter will be replaced if they don't cut him in camp. That's why you brought in the other guy from Atlanta, I believe. But let's say they D-tackle 3rd round or something like that. You did? So it's just for me to understand that they have so much of a cluster of the way in which they can go look at these players says that we can't peg them down to a particular, because, trading up. Oh, yeah, Caden Street. There we go. I think we drafted multiple edges because I don't think they done. Just like they addressed it in no way. I know that Montez is on his way out next year, if you ask me. So I think you're looking for 2 people. Now, people, including myself, can make the assertion that Austin might make the jump to be a starter as opposed to the rotation guy. But those guys are going to be, he's going to be one of those guys in the rotation. And can you get your ish together so that you can help the 2 young guys that's going to be in front of you? Because the mid-round targets, where I think they really get a lot of their edge help, and they might even get a little bit more speed, because people keep forgetting that when we talk about defensive tackle, and Benny brought something up, but we will not and cannot disregard Shamar Turner. Everybody else that was a second round pick and a first round pick and a seventh round pick was all lumped into this greatest class alive. It'd be totally unfair to not have that guy be able to prove that he is not going to be relied upon heavily. Like all the rest of those guys took until week 9 or so to get locked in. He wasn't there for week 9. So that may give us another little inkling about defensive tackle, that they may go get the big heavy to clog up the middle. But Gallimore is a rotation guy, and they may get a more of a developmental big body in one of the middle rounds, and they're gonna get some pure pass rushing, like they say, early on. But that's how we got to look at it. Again, if we reach our target goal today, we will come up with specific questions that we get to ask at the draft. The way in which it has been set up or explained to me throughout the research that I'm doing right now is that my streams will be truncated and broken up. And by that I mean I will have opportunities in certain areas to make videos and then do edit and transmit. I will not have the opportunity to go live in some of those areas. Also, there are going to be spaces and times that are recommended to go live best times. So I believe twice is when my live feeds will happen. Early on for interview time along the concourse, and closer to the actual time that the Bears may make a pick. Meaning, if anything were to happen critically, i.e. a trade up or something to that degree, then my stream is about to hit like wildfire so we can get right on it, like we live action news. Otherwise, the closer we get to pick 20, then I will rebroadcast the stream or refire up the stream so that I can be in an area that is not in the direct pavilion for the purposes of the draft theater, and not to upset their apple carton rules, because your boy don't want to get kicked out. So and Broski love to get me riled up in here talking about damn running backs in the first round. He doing it for fun. He don't mean it. But we will have some questions asked at the draft by the chat if we get to our super chat goal. We got a couple things left before we wrap up, so let's move on. We're going to talk about things being stamped or returned to sender. Is the concept of best player available of need, is that a concept that we are willing to lock in as a special delivery, or is that something that we think we should return to sender? Yeah, Broski said he'd be thrilled with Mike Watson at 25. He reminded me of a stronger and faster forte. If that was loud, it was meant to be. We are not getting no running back in the first round. Who I would? Hey, look. I'm supposed to be holding my selfie stick all ready. You draft a running back, I'll be like, I tell him to stop it. Get some help. So let me see. I made a video, everybody. That video had every pick that I believed the Bears will make. Do I A, stick to my guns and leave it there or B, go with my wild take. The Bears will trade back at least 4 spots in this year's draft. Because man, you would like it. You would like it. Oh, I think I would lose my ish. I mean, if that's what they really wanted to let it boil down to, but I think I would. Woo. That'll leave me dumbfounded, right? Like I'll be at the draft with the that'd be my face. But if, I mean, like that's what it is. You never know, because he talk about what do you call it? He talked about that particular when he spoke on Matt Forte. I was infuriated when they drafted Forte in the second round. I was wrong. I was so wrong. But I just don't want it because I want what I want. Be like, man, yeah, I'm gonna have Jordan tears, man. I had to suck it up and be like, all right, but Botrick's always my friend. Botrick say you want to support a growing streamer and content creator. Cash apps are always appreciated. Forte was so damn underrated, man. And look, when he wanted his second contract, I was all about getting him a contract. But this year, while we are heavy with the amount of people we have, I think that the rotation has to be a NASCAR type of situation. I think we getting it going. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't think there's a situation where 1 or 2 people are just going to be the sack leaders. We finna get them churned out. Like, they finna crank them. You're so special, Ken. We got to get defense. Bean himself said he has never coached on a defense that was a top-ranked defense while he was a coordinator above. Like, I mean, I know what offense do, but defense, can we do something? That's what your coach said. So if your coach is saying things like that, you know, it don't bode well for us to think about the situation in that way. But overall, they're gonna, like I said, it's gonna be an opportunity for us to address the defense in a myriad of ways. But what I'm thinking is the Bears have, like, let's say they got 5 players that they want. And those 5 players can be had from 25 to 30. You know, if somebody come calling, I can see it. It wouldn't surprise me at this point, Ken. Wide receiver and running back would surprise me. While the other things I wouldn't be satisfied with the other things. They wouldn't make me happy. I wouldn't be shocked by them. You see? So, I think we got to be more receptive to the understanding that the word I'm going to look for. We might not be picking a 25. We might be pushing back so that somebody comes up to do things the right way. And I think Broski is hyperbolic in how he tries to characterize Braxton Jones. Braxton has never been horrible. He's just a serviceable, very average guy. But I'm not worried about it because Jedrick Wills is going to start. Jedrick Wills will be your left tackle. Jedrick Wills will beat out Braxton Jones. And Ozzy is coming back healthy. In case you didn't know. So that's all I can say about it. That's all I can do. I can't make it any more or less false or true. We're going to let you know. It's a fact. If they don't do it, man, we're going to find out. Look, we got Thursday. Thursday's going to let us know a lot of these things. I told somebody today, it will give us the opportunity to go ahead and let us know whether or not we are right or wrong. I hope he's healthy. Broski, I wait. I look forward to every waking moment and stream that we get to spend together. He not coming back this year. I'm not talking about this year, Ken. I said coming back. I'm not drafting in the first round for somebody to come back. Period. But what I will be able to see, and we all will be able to see, is that we can't rely on nobody, including the guy you want in the draft, Broski. What we can rely on is we can rely on Thursday through Sunday teaching us a myriad of things about who the Bears think they need as opposed to who we think they need. It'll be interesting to find out what types of checks and balances we get to have to kind of round out these conversations that we've been having up to this point, where we've had several different theories, rationales, and so on and so forth that have kind of led us to this point. And now we get to understand that as in free agency, when we had thoughts about certain things, some of those things came to fruition, most things didn't. You get to kind of have the next plan. The next plan was free agency. Was the, what do you call it? The draft. And so those were the types of things that was to be spoken about. And I think that ultimately the board is going to tell us whether or not the people that are in the building are too light in the ass to do the job that they've done before. It would tell me if somebody that's too light in the ass was drafted top 10 overall. But the board in itself and their picks in general will tell us whether or not they actually foresee their problem as a major problem or a temporary issue. They have brought people in, and they've brought people in every position. So that tells us that not one position, with the exception of quarterback, starting quarterback, is left unturned, in the sense that the position I've heard the least amount of news about when it comes to people that was brought in, scouted, and so on and so forth, was the running back position. We've heard about linebackers. wide receivers, cornerbacks, quarterbacks, safeties, D tackles, guards, centers. We know everything except for a damn running back. So everything is on the board for us, and we're going to get to find out exactly how it is. But in the meantime and in between time, lock in, subscribe if you have not. Ken, I will see you Thursday. I want us to hit the notification bell. I am going to set my thumbnails up tomorrow for every time that we get going. Hit those notification bells so that you can be live and present with me if we have any things that we want to be exposed to on draft day. We are going live straight from Pittsburgh, as we state. The energy will be high. The energy will be there. But I need you guys to be there with me in order to deliver. And I need your presence there. So leave your last thoughts in the chat. We are going to get at you guys later on and wrap it on up for us. I appreciate you pulling up, giving me your thoughts. Let's hope we get some satisfaction on Thursday. Tune in with me. But until next time, and until next delivery, which this time will come from Pittsburgh, people, I am your host, Postman 1914. Cash is my man besides me. And we're going to go ahead, let y'all get the melodious tunes as we ride on out of here, and I will see you very soon.